We are recording.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is an episode of Life Edge because life just doesn't have to be mediocre. And believe me, we've got lots of mediocrity out there. My name is Rick Zanotti, and I am joined today by my good friend, co host, and pioneer. She's doing some incredible stuff with AI right now, and she's going to share some of that. Dr. Susan Nash. How you doing, Susan?
Hi there. It's so much fun to explore this stuff, but I'm glad to be here.
You are a real pioneer. You are getting into it and having, as far as I can tell, you're having a lot of fun.
Well, I've been experimenting with AI tools, I mean, the generative AI tools, the images and videos for quite a while, but I'm really kind of getting slightly serious with it. Not as serious as I could, because I found that, especially making the videos, I essentially had to get a new computer because
Mm,
of all the bandwidth issues and stuff. But yeah, I thought it just for fun, instead of just making instructional videos or informational ones or things I put up like in conjunction with my blog, I decided to create an entire channel with werewolf shifter romance stories. So so
it
I
has
had
a
a
big
thing called,
market.
yeah. Anyway.
But that's really interesting. Now, before she shows that stuff, which is actually pretty darn interesting. And for those who don't know, Susan's quite creative. She's a writer. She's done creative writing and technical writing and just about any kind of writing you could think of. And I would say AI is helping you become even more creative nowadays,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
which is fun. And you're becoming your own artist. You're becoming the voiceover talent. You're doing it all.
Well, I wouldn't call it talent, but I call it voiceover. But the thing is I think there's something to be said for authenticity. At the same time, there's something to be said for time saving. Um, so, I mean, like, the first audio books that I used AI for, I just used Kindle, and I
Mhm.
just chose a voice, and they're pretty good. I mean, they've improved a lot. But in creating my own videos and my own scripts, I thought it would be more fun to read them myself, although I did experiment with 11 Labs to generate the voices based on the scripts. And there are all kinds of tools to do that. Some are better than others.
How did 11 Labs work out for you?
I got kind of hung up on just trying to try out all the different voices. So, so I can't say that I really gave it a big enough. I didn't do an entire thing. I did a few just little snippets to see how it worked. Because as I was going along, I mean, I listened to AI voice stuff, and even though you do have choices of different voices, they all seem to have more or less the same kind of emotive quality, and and they don't make any mistakes. And frankly, it's a little bit boring after a while. I mean, if you're wanting to go to sleep, it's fine.
Now it's interesting. We can't link it here because we'll probably get dinged for copyright infringement or something. But there's one I discovered totally by accident the other day. I don't even know how it popped up. I was doing a search for something else, and all of a sudden I'm seeing something that I thought was America's Got Talent with Simon Cowell and the hosts. And there was some guy who looked like I think his name was Michael Bennett, and I thought he was real at first. But Michael Bennett is actually an AI person, and the voice was done by not even sure who. It sounds very similar. It's like a pop rock kind of voice, or even like a country rock kind of voice. Think of Bob Seger and the Silver
Hmm.
Bullet Band. He sounds very much like that, but the lyrics, the emotional quality was mind-boggling. In fact, one of the
Oh
songs
yeah.
had my eyes tearing up. I was going, my gosh. I didn't know it was
Well,
AI at the moment. I started looking, who is this guy? And
I
then,
mean, yeah, that's kind of amazing.
so I asked Gemini, who's Michael Bennett? Mike and Gemini says, Michael Bennett is an AI production done by, they don't really know exactly who did it. They said it is quite an effort to make the voice sound very realistic, and it truly is. The emotional quality of the voice when it's speaking, when it's singing, how it can lift the tones up and down. It's do a
Well,
search for Michael Bennett and America's Got Talent. There's about 10 or 15 songs that they have, and it's a whole production number. It's pretty
well,
amazing. Uh,
here's what I think is, yeah. So here's what I think is different between the AI now and before. Okay, first, AI has been used on all, Photoshop, everything. It's all AI based,
mhm,
like machine learning, et cetera. So it's all AI creating images, et cetera. But the big difference is the large language, Gen AI.
right.
So when you can doing the detailed descriptions. So the more detailed your descriptions, the harder the AI works, and the more you pay for it. But the
Yeah.
better more you can refine it. I'm going to show you my channel right now just to give you a sense.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah. So where's this share screen? Here it is. So I'm just sharing. You can see the Moonmark Romance Stories is the name of the channel, and I used AI to create this. I think I used ChatGPT video image creation because I thought it did a pretty good job. Gemini does a good job too. But I used it for creating the banner and also this little logo imprint. And then I did one series, which is What the Wolf Wants. It's putting it in the wrong order, but it's 9 series. It's set in Tulsa. And I described real places. So the interesting thing on this is part of it takes place in a place called Hideaway Pizza. I actually went to Hideaway a few days ago and
Hmm.
showed a person who's wait staff. And I go, where do you think this is? He said, oh, that's Hideaway Pizza. I mean, it's not really, but I described it well enough that for a person who even works there, they thought that had gone to Hideaway.
Huh.
And, and then this is 15th Street, and again, it's not exactly the same, but you could be fooled. And then here's the Arkansas River, and the Arkansas River that's been dammed up to make Zinc Lake, and this is just through describing it. So I was kind of shocked um and impressed. So what I did is I wrote a script. I actually just read it and created the images using Midjourney and also ChatGPT, DAL-E. And then I put it into a PowerPoint, uploaded it, and read the story while I was in ScreenPal because it gave me more control over advancing it and things like that. But that's how that I just found that to be fun and interesting. Now I'm trying to unshare. My controls have gone crazy. Um, anyway, okay, here we go. Stop sharing.
Yeah, so and how long did that take you?
Quite a while. Okay, the one that was the the wrong Hardcastle, which is based on She Stoops to Conquer, uh, Oliver Goldsmith. That's 34 minutes, but it took me a long time because I wrote the thing. Plus, I created the images, and I also revised it numerous times to make it flow better.
Hmm.
And in the case of the wrong Hardcastle, it was for She Stoops to Conquer is from 1763 England, and it's essentially about people who are um, pretending a woman who's pretending to be a maid, and she's pretending that their house is an inn, and they get lost and they believe it, so that he starts being kind of it's comical. Anyway, I used more or less the same concept, but it was like these guys from Houston. getting driving to Ellis County, Oklahoma, and getting lost, and they end up they started out in Houston, so it's this really kind of cocky engineer, and she's a really um, smart, smart attorney, and they've communicated via email but they've never been on Zoom meetings, so they don't really know what they look like, each other looks like. And and she wants to get to know him, because she thinks that there's some potential that she wants to get him outside the office. And so he goes and he pretend and he comes up and thinks that this is a bed and breakfast, but it isn't really. It's a prank. And that so there's her dad, Big Jim, and he's an alpha. They're all werewolves.
Hmm.
So anyway, it's I just had fun with it. So anyway, she they have chemistry. Fire starts with their cousin, and then here they're having tension at dinner because he and then there's a fire. So he shifts into a werewolf, and they both shift into werewolves, run out, and they fight the fire, but they also like move the truck out of the way and let the cattle run into the pond. And then they end up after the fire in love. Anyway, that's a short story of it. And at the end, they're happily ever after, running through the fields as wolves.
Being good werewolves.
Anyway, it's a lot. I took out all the humor in my description of it, but there's a lot of sparring back and forth and sparks fly.
That sounds fun. Have you ever seen the movie Lady Hawk?
No.
Oh, you would love that movie. It's with Rutger Hauer and Matthew Broderick. Rutger Hauer is the gallant knight, and Matthew Broderick is the kind of goofy knight's assistant, even though he didn't want to be. Um, but Rutger Hauer is looking for his Lady Hawk because an evil bishop turns her every time I think there's a full moon. She turns into a hawk and he turns into a wolf. But they can never be together because the bishop was jealous of him because they truly loved each other. Um, and you know, when you were
That's like
telling
an
me,
Eloise and Abelard,
yeah,
except
yeah,
not
and
so gruesome.
yeah, it was actually a really good movie, Lady Hawk. And
Nice.
but
I'll have to check that out.
every time they're together, they turn and they can never be together until finally Matthew Broderick helps him go after the bishop. And but it's a fun, moving, and well written and interesting plot movie. I thought it was really cute.
Wow, that's really cool.
And this
So
movie,
before we started, you were talking about if I wanted to create my own, go ahead with Midjourney or use one of the tools to create my
right,
own
your
voice,
own
using my
voice.
voice and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, well, I feel hesitant. I mean, except for the little experiments. Have you done it? Are you thinking about doing it?
I've thought about doing it. I haven't done it yet. And I've done voiceover work, but I haven't done it where I could just apply that to a script.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got some things that may be lining up where I may be doing that, and maybe in Spanish. So
Oh, that's
a,
super
com-
cool.
a combination of talking in English and maybe talking in Spanish. Some of it might be advertising, some of it might be something totally different. And as I mentioned to you, I've got a little bit of a problem right now with my vocal cords. That happened after an accident I had about 2.5 years ago. More of a not really an accident. I got hit by a bug, an infection, sepsis. But I survived sepsis, so that was good. But um, but it definitely I had surgery after that to fix something, and it messed. I think when you do surgery, sometimes they completely block your air tubes so that you don't accidentally have reflux during surgery. And I think I got probably scratched or bothered along the way. So I can talk for a long time, and then other times I sound like this. It's really
Well,
not good.
that what you're pointing out is a really good example of how it's useful, especially you don't want to wear out your voice, and you can
Hmm.
be consistent.
Yes,
Um, One thing I've noticed on AI, sometimes the scripts have some issues so that they need to proof listen because it will repeat itself or glitch.
yes, yeah. And so that's why I haven't done one yet, but I'll be looking at 11 Labs and some other ones and see how much it costs and how clean it is. Uh,
Right.
I did some translations earlier this morning just to do some testing, and it was so funny. I asked Gemini to translate what I was reading into Spanish, and it went from something like, uh, my voice was something like, no se murió el amor. Es siempre tarde, no es muy tarde, es siempre listo. No. So I was talking to that. So I said, Gemini, translate that. No se murió el amor. And I went, no, that's
Oh,
not right.
wow.
It was horrible. Um,
Wow.
I went about
Wow.
4 octaves too high. I was
How
like, oh my
funny.
gosh, this is horrendous. So there are some bugs to be fixed.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, and that's been the case with anything like animation, any type of stuff, any tools. Um, yeah, it's just interesting. And I've created some little videos that I've used, like little promo videos, just using script, and I used Veed,
Yes.
Veed, but that I just used random. I didn't customize it with my name, voice or anything. I think the thing is, I'm not a big fan of my own voice, but when I read things. The only thing I think is good about it is there's a sense of authenticity. But
Yes. Yeah, and
um,
you have a very young sounding voice. So, nobody will ever figure out how old or young you are. Um, which
well,
is pretty good.
so I know some neutral voice, and a lot of women's voices tend to be kind of neutral.
Hmm.
And so that's a positive. I don't know. I know that did some reading for several books on LibriVox, and I don't think my reading on those was, well, there are things that I was experimenting with which I shouldn't have, which different voices and different accents. I was savaged in the comments.
The voiceover talents that can do all the multiple language accents. I have a couple of friends who do that. They're incredible. They can go from a Russian to this to that, and they perfectly natural.
I even struggle with different American accents. So, I mean, forget it if I'm trying to do like German or something.
Yeah, I mean, but and you speak Spanish,
Yes, but
and you speak
I can't really imitate a Spanish
and you speak
while
Russian
I'm
too.
speaking. Yeah, but if I'm trying to do it in English and trying to make it sound like I have a Spanish accent with it, I just feel like I'm mocking somebody. I don't want to, something blocks me. I don't want to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because whenever I know like 5 words in Russian, not much, but I've got some friends who live in Russia, and they all have this deep voice. It's like, "Do svidaniya." It's like, oh, cool. They have, and it's so
Я говорю по-русски.
yeah, and
Только не
immediately
English.
everybody. But it's funny when we all try to speak Russian, it gets lower and more serious, and it's like, wow, okay. Um, the Russian girls that I've met, like for example, people I know who work at iSpring and stuff, they all have very high voices.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
идет дождь. It's raining.
yeah, yeah, da, da.
Да,
Um,
конечно.
yeah,
But like
no,
if I try to say that with an English with a Russian accent, I just feel like I'm butchering it. And also
mm,
that it'll come out as like I'm mocking people when I
yeah.
like because it's like so bad.
Now, when you were in Russia, did you have any problem talking to anybody?
Well, no, with the limited amount that I could speak, but I mean, I couldn't express myself in the same way that I did can in
Right,
Spanish.
right, right. And in Spanish, you're pretty bilingual. You speak well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I
So,
don't have an
and
Argentine accent for sure. I think your Argentine accent's cool.
oh, um, no, you sounded good. We do actually, for those who want to see, we did a couple of life edges in Spanish,
Hmm.
and we were interviewing people in South America, and we had
Hmm.
a Mexico, South America. It was
Colombia,
interesting.
Argentina, yeah.
Yep. And we had some fun shows. People are going, "You guys speak Spanish?" Huh? So it's sort of fun. Spanish is a beautiful language,
It really is. The
and
vocabulary is amazing.
and what Russian and Spanish have the two largest vocabularies of any language.
Oh, that's amazing.
I think Russian is the largest, followed by Spanish, and English is actually pretty far down. It wasn't that big a vocabulary for a language. It's
Which is
acquired a lot,
it's kind of surprising because when you think about how English is, it's basically two languages fused together,
right?
the Germanic Anglo-Saxon
Yeah,
with the Old French on top of it.
yeah. And then now, how much of well, if you look at Irish and Scottish, they have again variations on a theme from their ancestors, and it's interesting.
Oh yeah.
But we do have another show that we'll be doing in the very near future, and it will be called the Internal Mind Podcast. And if you're wondering what's the internal mind, well, it's not the external mind. It's what happens inside of us, how we look at things, our consciousness, how we develop. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about health, frequencies, how you can balance your body frequencies to make your health better,
Hmm.
and other things. There's a lot of stuff, how we learn, how we can use parts of our brain, how we can, make ourselves as we get older or as we age, healthier. So I
Yeah.
think we'll have a good time with some of those topics, and it's somewhere where medicine is going right now. There's a lot of frequency talk in medicine. There was something that President Trump posted one time on medveds, and everybody went, huh? What's that? And then it got taken down like within a day. So we don't know what he was talking about, but medveds are concepts that are still pretty exploratory, where they think they can regenerate limbs, they can
Now, a
regenerate
man
body.
bed in Russian is a bear.
A medved
So I thought, oh, bears, healing bears,
healing bears. There you go. Um,
healer bears.
healer bears. Well, you know the word shaman,
Yes.
and everybody thinks that they're American Indians. Well, you know where the word shaman comes from?
No.
Russian. It was
Oh,
not,
how
it was,
interesting.
and the shamans were the, call them witch doctors. They were the doctors in the tribes that there were lots of tribes in Russia, different tribes. And the shamans were the healers.
How
And then
interesting.
that word somehow became used everywhere. And now people think shamans are either American Indians or maybe South American, something.
Hmm.
But a shaman originally was Russian. When
How
I read that, I
interesting.
was going, "That's fascinating." I did not know that one.
It is. Well, there's so much mysticism in Russia, Russian mysticism, as well as mysticism from the early, well, as far back as, say, Boethius and some of the early Christians, Greeks.
Well, even but bringing it back to like the 18th and 19th century, there was a Russian philosopher,
Oh,
uh,
Gurdjieff?
Gurdjieff, yeah,
Yeah.
Georges Ivanovich Gurdjieff. He was quite fascinating. He developed something called the fourth way. which was a different way to see yourself amid society, analyze yourself. Self-observation was very keen, and he had a very scientific approach. Not even to mention, he was very much into therapy and the music of the spheres, which goes all the way back to
Oh, yeah.
Pythagoras.
Yes.
Very
Yes,
fascinating.
exactly. Yeah, that is really interesting.
And I studied a lot of the Gurdjieff philosophy here in the US, but also when I was in Argentina. I studied with a group for about 3 years over there. So I found it a very interesting. And even though they talk about, for example, what the Hindus consider chakras or energy
Hmm.
centers, but they just call them energy points or even meridians, if you will, uh, motor point, intellectual points. You know, it's really fascinating how they took different parts of civilizations and kind of incorporated it. And the Russians with Gurdjieff really had a pretty interesting thing. He left Russia, went to England, and I think eventually he settled in France and had an institute there until his death. But very fascinating guy. And again, what I liked about his method, it was very scientific. It wasn't just, kind of a lot of made up stuff. It was pretty provable on a lot of the things that they were doing. But very
That's
interesting stuff. So that's the kind of stuff we'll
that,
be talking about.
yeah, and it's really interesting too. I'm looking forward to building the ch new channel, and I just wanted to share a few things we talked about before too. That I found out a few things to do that will kill your channel if you try to have a new channel.
Mm,
So one of the things and I do this all the time, and I didn't know that it was doing damage. I'll upload a video and then I'll check to make sure it's running okay. I'll just watch 30 seconds and then I won't, and I'll skip through and watch a few snippets, but that's it. Well, it tells the algorithm that your first viewers only bothered to watch it less than a
mm,
minute, and it totally kills it. And then, so if you're going to watch your turn after you've uploaded, if you're going to start running the video, just run it on a phone or something. Put the it on or a computer you're not using and put this it on silent and just walk away from it and let it run all the way through.
You
And
know,
then
a corollary to that one is before you upload it, go through it. Go through
yes.
your video, make any fixes, then upload it, then never look at it again. Let everybody else look at it.
Well, yeah, and then also the other thing I said to do immediately is share it with people and then do not like you're saying don't go back in and change it because the minute you change the any of it, the title, the thumbnail, anything, it considers it a brand new in thing and it'll kill it too. And then another thing that to not and I don't know if this is actually true. I don't they said go ahead and comment on um your own channel right away. Put a comment in, even if it's just yourself, and then put in a poll.
Yeah,
And
I
I've
don't know
tried
if that
using a
one's,
poll,
yeah.
and I did have some good luck with one I put up where I was talking about the Banksy, the identity of Banksy, the artist. I put a poll in there, and I think now I'm afraid to go back to my old ones to put polls, and you need to put it in as you're uploading before you upload it. But
Mm,
then it encourages people to interact and take the poll. And
interesting.
that really helped it. I mean, like 26 people commented or took the poll versus none.
Right. It's not a bad idea. I never even thought of doing a poll on YouTube. That's clever.
Yeah. Yeah, like which was your favorite or what is it, should Banksy go ahead and reveal his or her identity or their identity if it's multiple?
Mm, that's kind of fun because it makes your story grow as it's going.
That's true. Yeah.
That's fun. That's a good idea.
Anyway, I wanted to share that.
Yeah, that is a good idea. And you know what the real problem is with the YouTube uh, algorithms? no one really knows how they work. They
They change
change
all the
them.
time.
They
Yes.
change them a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and they have pretty much killed the ability of a lot of people to make money, um,
Yes.
because they just nix you for everything. So, unless you're paying for advertising, you probably won't make much money on YouTube. You might get a lot of views, but you won't make a lot of money if that's what you're planning on doing. And the problem is there are so many videos right now that it's very hard to maintain a really good audience unless you're doing something on the verge of getting, blocked. Because if you're not on the verge of that, then people may go, well, okay, you might get an audience, but people love to see some drama. And so it's interesting.
Well, and a lot of people are quitting, influencers are quitting out of mental health for mental health concerns.
Well, the podcasters, not us included, I'll have you know, uh, have really high levels of suicide. Very
They,
sad.
it's very sad, and just that sense of when you start out being creative, then you basically enter into a Faustian bargain with your people and with your followers. And then they
Yeah,
talk about the danger of falling into pro-social relationships. So you have all these people who think they know you and they act like they know you and think that you're friends. And then especially for the people who go live and they take super chats and things,
yeah.
they actually start being dependent on their
Hmm.
pro-social relationships sending in money. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that's like not a healthy place to be.
No, I know two podcasters who committed suicide, and I
Mm.
and I knew one fairly well, and the other one not too badly. And I knew one who came close. And what the two I knew, you'd think they were the most normal, happy-go-lucky, great guys. One was
Mhm.
married with two beautiful girls, and he just committed suicide one day. It
Wow.
was really sad. And then another one, he was a Swedish guy, a Swedish filmmaker. He and his partner, they both made lots of great movies. He was not married. He was a single. His partner was married with kids, and they won a lot of awards for videos they made, corporate videos and other things. And one day, his friend, the one who wasn't married, just committed suicide. And we talked to him afterwards, and he said, "I've known him since I was a child. We've been best friends forever. And one day he just killed. He never mentioned it, and he committed suicide."
Oh my gosh. Well, that's horrible. Well, I think,
So
and the other thing too is like actually revealing your identity, which we do, obviously. But I mean, but like people who try to, have a relationship with the people that are viewing crosses a line. And anyway, well, so I don't know if we're almost out of time, but that was a nice note to end on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And believe me, if you do have feelings of suicide or something, talk to someone.
Yes, if
There's
you have
there's
any
always
negative feelings.
yeah, there's always help available. And
Yes.
and the rest is, you have to look at what we do on the web as it's informational. It can be entertainment. We call that infotainment many times. It could be educational, but
And
don't let it get, yeah.
the thing is too, I mean, I don't even know if we can use that word without it killing the algorithm. So we might even have to cut
Hmm.
out that whole sections of conversation. I never think about that because I don't really worry about the numbers. The purpose
Yeah,
is really
I don't either. We've
the,
had we've had over 2 million views in some of our podcasts, and that's nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
because
back when we could actually read well, especially when it
yeah,
was on Vimeo.
and that was on Vimeo. And but you
Hmm.
know what? It didn't matter if we had the views or not. No, if we could get people involved, great. If not, that was okay too. I think we did it more because we were having a good time, and if people benefited from it, great. We made lots of friends doing it, but besides that, I would never take this personally. Um,
No.
no, I mean, it's a fun thing to do, and we've had a lot of fun doing it. But
I like it when we
uh,
have guests too. We'll start having guests
yeah, we haven't been inviting in a while, but that'll be happening soon too. And I'm
with
going to
the
go
internal
back.
mind, and also I'd like to invite, what I like to do is start having writers again talking about their work.
Sure, sure. Because it's amazing what writers can come up with and how they share. So that's
Mhm.
always good. Anyway, well, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it, and we will see you next week on Life Edge. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.